that has grown into a global organisation of over 330,000 of us. Today, more than 175 years later, we've chosen our Founders' Day as a day to consider what has made us, what continues to make us, thrive. After one of our most challenging years, and one of individual perseverance and collective success, we encourage you to take a moment to reflect on our enduring values together and look around at who we are, at what we aspire to be, as we take this moment to say thank you.
谢谢。
Grazie.
Thank you.
Vielen Dank.
Thank you, Deloitte.
For all that you've done this year, for our past, present, and future.
Recording in progress.
Morning, Patai. Happy New Year. Morning, Yomi. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Ezeko. I'm going to be the program moderator. Before we begin, there are a couple of housekeeping rules I would like to just communicate so that we can sail smoothly afterwards. First is there is a functionality at the bottom of your screen. It's called the Q&A functionality. That is where you're going to be putting your questions. So please do not use the chat button for your questions. The chat function is for interactions. Happy for you to use it, but basically for interactions, not for asking your questions. And I would also advise that if your mic is not muted and you're not speaking, please just mute your mic and you also have your video off. I will then encourage every one of you to please participate. So ask as many questions as possible. We will try our best to address all of the questions that are asked. All right. By way of introduction, it's important to mention that the Deloitte economic Nigeria Economic Outlook 2022 is basically an annual event organized by Deloitte. And it's just a way of providing deeper insights into the direction for the year when it comes to reviewing macroeconomic development and key policies of governments with regards to monetary, fiscal, trade, and other regulatory areas that will then shape the future of this country. Now, Deloitte DO 2022 is tagged or themed Sustainable Economic Growth and National Development Agenda. And in this program, we hope to provide the opportunities for a deep dive into the topical issues that affect the country from an economic point of view. From economic growth to national development plan to sustainable revenue. Apologies. Okay. So as I was saying, we have the agenda on the screen. We are really pleased to have the governor spending some of his time to give us the governor's address. And we will then have two keynote speakers, His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who will be talking on Nigeria's investment attractiveness and economic competitiveness. We are Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, give her speech on Nigeria fiscal headroom, revenue, infrastructure financing, and debt servicing. Then we'll move on from there, and we will then go international. Our own Dr. Martin Davies, the Managing Director of Emerging Markets in Africa, will be taking us on Global and Africa Economic Outlook 2021. We will have two panel sessions. The first panel will focus on economic outlook, sustainable growth, and infrastructure funding. And that will be moderated by Dr. Bola Adigun. Then we'll have the second panel will focus on revenue generation, business environment, regulations, and business imperatives. And that will be taken and moderated by Nancy. Okay, so at this point, like I said, we are very delighted and we're very pleased to have distinguished guests and very senior members of government with us. First on the list is His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, GCON. We also have His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, ably represented here by the Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Honorable Sam Igube. And we also have the Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Dr. Zainab Ahmed. Now, without wasting much time, we'll just, okay, we also have the other members of the panel, distinguished ladies and gentlemen who are going to be discussing the two issues which I already introduced. And like I said, without wasting much time, I will invite the West Africa CEO, Fatai Folari, to give us the welcome address. Please welcome Fatai Folari. Fatai.
Thank you. Good morning. The Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the Executive Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget, and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, distinguished speakers, panelists, participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I warmly welcome you to this signature event of Deloitte Nigeria, the Nigeria Economic Outlook 2022. Actually, the fifth in series of this event hosted by Deloitte Nigeria. At the beginning of each year, we at Deloitte strive to bring together public and private sector participants to brainstorm on the economy and to look into what the future holds for Nigeria. This is an attempt by ourselves to contribute towards the growth of the Nigerian economy, and it's also one of efforts we make as we continue to contribute effectively in the pursuit of economic recovery and transformation for Nigeria. So as a firm, we're delighted to host this event as one of our ways of exhibiting our mantra, making impact that matters in our society. Without doubt, ladies and gentlemen, we all agree that 2022 has been is going to look better for everybody. The milestone year we target here in Deloitte. And our view is that most economy will continue to recover and continue to strive towards GDP growth and towards economic sustainability. You will remember Nigeria recently came out of the second effect of recession in the last 6 years. I mean, when you look at what we've achieved in this regard and the growth that we've experienced during the second and third quarters of 2021 in terms of GDP growth, we are excited that we're looking forward to believe that the fourth quarter will look good and Nigeria will continue to recover and rebound. We believe the impact of COVID-19 can continue to be improved upon. And as we look at the pandemic and the way you look at it all over the world, we're of the view that most economies that are struggling will continue to recover gradually. We will recall how the pandemic has affected supply chain, how the economy became fragile, policymakers struggling here and there to make sure that they deal with the effect of the pandemic. It's our belief at Deloitte that most economy will continue to recover. And as countries start to open up the environment, we'll continue to see more economic growth and investment flowing into Nigeria and all over the world. So it's our view that the economy will continue to recover in 2022. But coming back to Nigeria, it's quite instructive to also give the current administration a pat on the back for helping to pass the appropriation bill expeditiously, with the National Assembly working with the executive and the Mr. President has sent to the bill. That, in effect, gives an impression that Nigeria is ready for growth and accelerated economic development. Especially when you look at what we've done in recent times in passing this bill, the appropriation bill on time, we also need to give credit to the Federal Executive Council and the Minister of Budget and National Planning for sustaining this effort and also giving the National Assembly a pat at the back. We're of the view that this feat will continue to help Nigeria to plan and businesses will be able to grow effectively. As the budget is passed, it's our belief that Nigeria will also be able to implement the rollover of 2021 capital budget rollover, because we believe with that in place and the 2022 budget in place, the country is ready for growth. One of the other major achievements that Nigeria has experienced is also being able to pass the third in series, the Finance Act. That's actually a very distinctive achievement for the country because it helps to see where the direction of the Nigerian law in terms of economic development and sustainability is growing. And we also would like to thank the federal government for this and the Minister of National Planning, Budget and National Planning for achieving this. We would also like to point to the fact that the medium-term expenditure framework, the fiscal strategy papers, will also help to facilitate microeconomic growth and balance in the country, improve the activities and efficiency of business sectors as we tag along. The resources that the country have can be annexed with all these policies and that are in place. Today, our view is that Nigeria is on the path of recovery. At Deloitte, we have the view that the country is set for growth and the country should continue to grow along this line. Our view today and what do we intend to achieve is for us to listen to experts in the various fields, from monetary, physical, infrastructure, debt recovery, and business landscape, to just listen to people as to how they see Nigeria and how they see the country grow. We'll be viewed that today's session will be impactful and we'll be able to deliver more discourse amongst ourselves. As Deloitte, we're committed to continue to improve the outcome of the Nigerian economy, to continue to develop and continue to face complex issues as we go along. That's what we do for our clients, and we're of the view that government and public sectors are also geared to continue to develop in this direction. Mine is for an introductory session, and I'd like to believe that our speakers, panelists, and experts in the room will effectively contribute to the discourse today. I'd like to welcome you once again, and specifically to thank the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, for joining us today, the Governor of Lagos State, and the Honorable Minister for joining us today. Distinguished speakers, panelists, dignitaries, we thank you today for joining our discourse, the Nigeria Economic Outlook, and we thank you so much for being part of it. Please accept our best wishes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fatai Fulari, for that welcome address. And I also want to thank you, all attendees, for joining. We have quite a sizable number on the program right now. Next, we will be going to the next on the agenda, which is the goodwill message from the chair of Deloitte Africa Board, Delia Undlovu.
Hi, everyone. My name is Delia Ndlovu. I am the chair of the Deloitte Africa. I am delighted to welcome you to this. Hi, everyone. My name is Delia Ndlovu. I am the chair of the Deloitte Africa. I am delighted to welcome you to this auspicious occasion hosted by our exceptionally talented team in West Africa. I have no doubt that you will have an awesome time as you engage on topical issues that are preoccupying leaders across the world. Because of the recalibration of risk in the pandemic era, it was impossible for me to be with you physically. However, I do know that our team, which is purpose-driven, is well positioned to help you to focus on topics that help you to elevate purpose as you navigate how to effortlessly implement sustainability strategies in your companies, as you deal with the volatility, uncertainty, as well as ambiguity that is brought by the pandemic era. I wish you all the best today as you have intense discussions and deliberations. Keep well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Delia Undlovu, Chair, Africa Board. At this point, we will then move to the governor's address. And to take the governor's address is the Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Honorable Sam Igube. Please join me to welcome Sam Igube. Okay, I think the information I got now is the governor is not ready. He's still looking to make the presentation himself. So while we wait for the governor, at this point, we will then move forward to invite His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, GCON, ably represented here by the Executive Secretary and CEO of NIPC, Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission, Mr. Emeka Ofo.
Good morning, everyone. The Executive Governor of Lagos State, the Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget, and National Plan, the West Africa Chief Executive Officer, Deloitte, distinguished participants, speakers, and panelists at this event. Good morning. Today, I'm wearing a very large hat. I have been asked to represent His Excellency, the Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. I only pray and hope to be able to do justice representing him. His Excellency the Vice President sends his warm regards to the team at Deloitte and all the participants at this year's edition of the Deloitte Nigeria Economic Outlook 2022. His Excellency is unable to personally attend in view of his earlier scheduled engagements for today. I have been asked to make a presentation on his behalf on the topic, Nigeria's investment attractiveness and economic competitiveness. In addressing this topic, I will look at the global economic outlook for 2022, review Africa's growth prospects, discuss Nigeria in context, and mention the initiatives by the federal government to improve Nigeria's investment attractiveness and economic development. And finally, I will look at what needs to be done to stimulate economic growth and wealth creation. Taking a look at the global economic outlook for 2022, we will all recall that in 2020, the world woke up to certain vulnerabilities occasioned by COVID as a result of reliance on a single production center. The pandemic created a lot of distortion across the globe, especially in the area of restrictions that it imposed, as well as its impact on the supply chains across the globe. And that ended up creating recession almost everywhere. In 2021, the economy across the globe began to show signs of recovery as the world began to adapt to what we now call certain lexicons were introduced into our lives: social distancing, campaigns for vaccination coverage, deglobalization of manufacturing activities by MNE. Despite the marginal success achieved, 2022 is still enveloped with uncertainty, especially as we've been hearing about new variants of COVID. We heard of the Delta variant, we heard of the Omicron, and now we are hearing about the variants that combined both Delta traits and Omicron traits, and I think they call it Deltacron. But behind all these, we expect that the world will continue to make progress in terms of increasing economic activity. I would like to look at Africa's growth prospects. I would like to say that it is real. If you look at the slide, at the bottom right of the slide, you will see the number of economies growing faster than 5% in a year. Starting from 1988 to the year 2000, Sub-Saharan Africa had about 8 economies doing above 5% GDP growth. From 2000 to 2010, Africa's contribution rose to 18 economies doing greater than 5%. And then from 2011 to 2020, the number of economies in Africa that are growing at faster than 5% was 14. If you look at this slide, you would see that no other economy matched Africa's growth. So amidst all the socioeconomic political challenges, Africa remains the driver of global. Over half of the world's fastest growing economies are on the continent. In Africa, we expect that economic activities will continue to increase despite those uncertainties associated with COVID-19. We see growth in such areas like telecommunication, retailing, banking, and so on, especially when we consider the opportunities provided by the African Continental Free Trade. While we see a lot of prospects and growth potential in Africa as a driver for economic growth, it is also important for us to highlight that there is need for bold transformative reforms in order to sustain the growth potential that we expect. I will now look at Nigeria in context. NIPC, Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, which is the agency of the federal government of Nigeria that has a mandate to encourage, to promote, and attract investments into Nigeria. We received feedback from investors. Usually, we engage them to ask them about their feel about the business environment. And these are some of the comments or feedback NIPC got from them. The ones that are in red highlight the ones that are frequently mentioned by investors. The issue of corruption, the painful and long unpredicted government approval process, the lack of access to long-term capital. They raise concerns about FX, getting FX and exchange. They mention security challenge and then difficult operating. And these are some of the areas that will require intervention. But I would like to mention that the federal government of Nigeria has made a very high commitment to improving Nigeria's business environment. They've introduced set specific reforms to ensure that Nigeria's business environment improves on an ongoing basis. You'll recall that in July 2016, the President of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, inaugurated the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBEC. The essence of that inauguration was to empower them to remove critical bottlenecks and bureaucratic constraints in Nigeria. They introduced several reforms, initiatives, worked with participating agencies of the government to ensure that Nigeria moves up its ranking in the World Bank Ease of Business. The activities of PEBEC and NIPC and other agencies, ministries, departments, and agencies of government saw significant improvement in Nigeria's ranking, improved investment environment. The federal government has also reenacted